Hi all, welcome. Nice to see you all, guys. Nice to read you all. um, Welcome to our second February webinar. So I suppose we would start in a couple of minutes as we're waiting for for everyone who registered. I think it will take 1 or 2 minutes to wait. So if you have now any questions, maybe even before the webinar, just feel free to ask it in the chat. Maybe we can also start with a small intro. I think it's okay. So at first, thank you all for joining us today for a webinar. So this is our second one, as already told. The first one was all about Fiber for product teams. So you can always check it in our YouTube channel. And today's webinar is titled How to Shape Product Strategy with User Research. Sounds pretty, I think it sounds pretty marketing. My name is Paulina, and I'm your presenter today. In February, I'm in charge of customer love, support, and panic. And today it was not a joke. The whole morning was full of panic, but glad it works. Everything works as a charm right now. And I'm that human you are talking to in Instagram chats, and if you book a demo, there is a very high chance that I'll make the demo for you. Hi Eva, hi Kali. So if February was a pirate ship, we would be pirates. Ever thought of that? For sure, we feel ourselves pirates every time we implement a feature that exists already in another tools. Yeah, feeling yourself like a pirate every time. So maybe we can also continue with some housekeeping. So webinar today will take roughly 35-40 minutes, and we will have two parts. First, I'm going to tell you about what user research is, and we will travel together through one of the cases, and we'll see how it works. Crossing fingers, it will work good enough. And you can also ask any questions you like. You can ask questions both during the demo, and my colleagues, Kate and later Michael, our founder, would try to answer them if it works out. You can type them in the comments window. I hope it is somewhere on the right? And we will also record the webinar, and it will arrive on our YouTube channel soon. And for sure, we will also send you the follow-up with the recording. So I think it can be time to share the screen. At least I hope so. Do I have the correct window open? Yep, looks like I do. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen. There it is. Okay, I hope everything looks correct and everything works. So let's repeat once again that, yep, this webinar will be recorded. We will be sending out the recording to all registrants, and we'll also upload it to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel. You'll be able also to install the whole setup with all the data inside with one click. So there is a button just down the video that is called User Research Template. You can install it. If you'll face the error that this template can't be installed, maybe you already have the same named apps in your workspace, then just rename the apps you have in the workspace and try to reinstall it again. And at any point, you can ask questions in the comments panel, and our founder, Michael Dubikov, will join us, I suppose, in 3 or 5 minutes, and he'll be glad to answer everything fully transparently, just like Fiber does. Also, just wanted to remind a bit that we have our concierge service, Super Paulina. So I'm waiting for all our calls, and I hope they will arrive just as it is. So I think let's get it started. Okay, unfortunately, when I'm sharing the screen, I'm not able to see your comments. So I hope that my colleagues will answer them. Okay, let's start from our very first whiteboard. So why do we need user research in common? So it helps us to identify and confirm or disprove our assumptions. It helps us to find commonalities and problems of our target audience, to recognize their needs, goals, and mental models. And overall, research animates our work and improves our understanding and sure validates our decision. So user research, in fact, is about finding insights to guide successful product. So we think that there is a flow that is pretty common for any company, that at first you have an assumption and you have to check it. There are multiple ways how to check it. You can make UX testing, surveys, usability testing, interviews. So there are really lots of methods. And if you install that template, there will be one more whiteboard that is more detailed about how to about methods of how to check assumptions, but we would not dive into it deeper right now because it would take really lots of time. But there is a small present for you right here. After you made some interviews, as much as you think is good enough, you have a lot of data to check, to analyze, and you can identify needs, goals, and mental models. So you have some data, and you get the insights, the pain points, or maybe not only pain points, but also praises and opportunities your product has. And for sure, in fact, you have to focus on pains that you have to address first, that are the most important for your target customers. After you checked assumptions and you've raised some problems you're going to solve, you are going to the ideation part. So you're like having some ideas of how to solve that issue or how to solve another one. Then you can validate your decision based on the ideas, based on the insights you've prepared. You can go to the execution part and to the strategy and finally solve those pain points. And then you can test the results and see whether the problem was solved or not. So in fact, this is like, here it looks like a wave, but in fact, it is more like a circle. Today, during the webinar, we would focus mostly on these steps. And if you're interested later to connect your user research and execution part, you can pick this in Intercom. You can book a call on the concierge page, or you can also check our previous webinar video record. We just showed there how it can work. So what are we going to go through today? Today we will just have one case and we'll go through all the steps, through all the circles, like through the whole circle. So we will make user research and it will be made with our, like, I don't know, leads, customers, based on our CRM we have in Fibry. From user research, we will get the insights, we will get the pain points, and then we will check, imagine, in our imagination, execution part exists, and we will think that, okay, we've done everything as planned, and then with customer feedback, we will check whether the problem was solved or not. And there will be a very small competitor block, because for sure we don't have to spend all our times looking at competitors, but we have to listen if our users and our target audience is talking about our competitors. For sure, we don't have to steal their best ideas, but we need to know opinion from our target leads. So I think that's enough for intro. Let's go to the real case we have. Not very real, but I still love it. So imagine that we have a product. We have a very nice product, and our product is a ketchup. That's just ketchup, that bottle you have in your on your table maybe every evening, just like I do. And everybody loves ketchup, and everybody knows what is it at least. And sales are going just as expected, and supermarkets are willing to put our product on their shelves, and everything goes according to the plan. So we have an objective to rise our sales. Sales are perfect. We are gaining a lot of money, and supermarkets are saying, whoa, we love you. And do you need to fix something unbroken? Definitely not. Are you sure nothing is broken? Probably not if you're not doing any user research. So you'll only get this type of insight by observing people using the product itself. So there is a big difference between observing people using your product and listening to people talking about your product and listening to the third parties, supermarkets in our case. So imagine we have a ketchup, that's our product, and user research team decided to talk not only to shop owners and to supermarket CEOs and sales guys, but also to families, their real customers, and just check whether they are happy, at least with ketchup, or not. So we've decided to check our ketchup. So let's go to our first part, to the user research app, and let's check our studies. And we will create a new study. We have an assumption that probably our ketchup is not perfect for families, and we are going to check it. For sure, crossing fingers, everything is okay. So let's create a new study. Are families happy with our product? Okay, that looks good enough. We see that we already had a study before, so we are creating a new one. And let's say that this is a customer discovery one, and Paulina is responsible for that. And we are going to do that all in May. Okay, and we want to have at least 3 interviews. So in the interview template, we have to put all those questions we are going to ask on each session, because like we have to have a plan. For sure, I've prepared some questions before. So that will be questions we are going to ask our wonderful family members. And here you can also like put some description, why have you decided to make such research, and so on. So that looks good enough. We are going to have 3 interviews at least. And now it's time to check and to plan our sessions. So we created a study, and now we want to ask someone real questions. Before planning even some sessions, we can check interview guidelines, because if you have more than one real human in your user research team, interview guidelines is something very important. In February, we're having like 3 guys that are doing user research, and it is something we were also facing, that our notes are very different from each other, and it is very easy to get lost. So interview guidelines is a must. Okay, I've checked some of them. I've planned study. Now it's time to plan some sessions. I'm going to talk to my real customers, and then that ones I'm sure that that love ketchup, and I can find them in the Contacts app. In fact, this Contacts app is a small CRM. So if your CRM is not as complicated to use, if you think that maybe Pipedrive or HubSpot is too much for your company, then you can for sure store all your contacts in Fibry, and that will bring you some value. So our contacts will consist of 2 levels. The first level are families, and the second level are family members. So in our CRM, we have only 3 families, not a very big one. These are Beethovens, Despickables, and McAllisters. I think that for our users, for checking our assumption, our study, we have to talk to 2 adults, at least, because they're family members, they're like head of the families, and to 1 child. For sure, because child's opinion also matters. So we have a McAllisters. It is pretty big family, telling the truth, from my point of view. I know that Peter McAllister is always busy at work because he has to earn money for that wonderful house they have. So maybe Kate will be glad to talk to us. Let's check her. Okay, here we have a Kate card. And we see that Kate already talked to us before. So let's plan one more session with Kate. We are going to talk to her, and that study will be our families happy with our product. We want to upload those questions we've prepared in our study. So now I have a plan of the questions already. Let's talk to her maybe today. Let's imagine we have enough time. Okay, and I think that's good enough. We've invited her, and even already everything is scheduled. Okay, Now let's plan also one more interview with Kevin, because he's the youngest son and I think it will be a pleasure to talk to him. Okay, we've already talked with Kevin before, so I hope that he has some experience already. Now let's again choose a study. Okay, again upload some questions. It is scheduled, and let's talk to Kevin tomorrow. Okay, that looks good enough. And what else? For sure, we can continue talking to McAllisters, but I think we have to ask another family as well. I think the Speakables will be a nice idea because their family is a very special one. Lonely father. So let's make it more gender balanced. Okay, we've talked to Guru already before, so let's plan our last session right now. So our family is happy with our product. Again, it is scheduled, and we can insert the template. Okay, and let's plan it for today, but maybe just a little bit later. Okay, that's good enough for now, I think. So what was done? We created a study. Then we planned some session with our real customers we have in our CRM. And they appeared on the board, so I can always check what's going on here. And now, to get some sessions, I think it will be good to open them in the calendar view. Okay, I have 2 sessions planned for today and 1 for tomorrow, so let's start from the very first one. We're talking to Kate McAllister, and for sure I've prepared some feedback from her, some notes. You can store notes in Fibery, but I have some ready ones, so this is it. Imagine we've talked to Kate face to face, and she shared that in the morning she's giving some meals to her children, and then they eat at school, and only in the evening they having dinner all together. Is a wonderful family. She doesn't have enough time to cook a lot of wonderful and very complicated dishes, so they're eating some fast food like quick made pasta, pizza, meatballs. Good news for us because this is a perfect food for our ketchup. And okay, do you use any eddies? Sure, we always have mustard and ketchup. Mustard for Peter and ketchup for children because they refuse to eat frozen prepared food if we cannot drown out this taste. Okay. So looks like we have an insight here. Okay, I'm feeling myself like a detective because we have a very nice insight just from this part of text. We see that children prefer ketchup, but Peter, her husband, prefer mustard. And mustard is our competitor. Oh my, that's time to replace it. We're deleting that piece of text, and instead we are mentioning a real competitor we have already as an entity, just like this. Then we will be able to jump up from the text to that competitor, and later we will see how it works. Okay, that's the first thing we have. And next thing we understand that there is a pain point, that there is a problem for us, that older people prefer mustard, not a ketchup. That's totally awful. Maybe we can make a ketchup with a taste of mustard. Who knows? We are crazy enough for that. So we're not going to make ideation right now. Right now we only have to collect that insight, so we don't have to, so we couldn't forget about it. So let's highlight that piece of text, just like this, and link it to the insight. In fact, we don't have such an insight already, so let's create it from scratch, that the older people are, the more they love mustard. Okay, I think that sounds good enough. In fact, that's all. Kate is pretty happy with our product, so I think that our interview with her is done. And we can go to the next one. Let's talk to Kevin because he's her child. And for sure I have some answers for Kevin from Kevin as well, because we just don't have enough time to put that manually. So I'll just copy paste the notes. And in fact, Kevin approves that his mother was right. and they definitely have some sandwiches at school, and they definitely have a lunch at school, and even in the evening they are like feeling themselves as family and have dinner all together. Good news for us that they love ketchup because they can't eat mom's food without ketchup, and they think that no one can. For sure, we will not tell that to Kate because I think she knows about this already. And again, any notes about the ketchup? Oh, this part seems pretty interesting for us because although our ketchup is perfect to cover the strange taste, it is too heavy. Okay, so mom treats Kevin like a child and she herself puts the ketchup on the plate. So that means that our target audience, children, just cannot handle the bottle. Seriously, that's pretty big pain. Okay, so let's highlight that piece of text again and create a new insight. That's it. We're highlighting the text, we're choosing the type we're going to create. We're going to create an insight and how we're going to name it. That children just can't hold heavy bottles. Okay, I think that sounds good. That seems to be pretty important, I think, for our product, that they just cannot handle that. Do you see any other insights out from here, except the fact that our product is perfect for quick-made food? I think that's it. So let's highlight and link it to the insight that ketchup is perfect for the quick-made food. Okay, we are creating our third insight, and now our text is so colorful. I think that we have done with that interview as well. Okay, and let's go to our last interview we have. This is it with Learner's Group. Oh God, we don't have even the time to put notes because once we start talking to Guru, he just starts shouting at us like, "Oh God, please do something with your damn bottles. I have more than 100 minions and their hands are too short and too weak to handle that." Okay, Guru, I understand. So that is something definitely Kevin was talking as well. So let's just highlight it, that wonderful feedback, and link to the insight we already have. So let's not create, but let's find the insight that children can't hold heavy bottles. Okay, let's link it. And we are done here with our sessions. Okay, let's close it. What do we have to do next? Right now, we have to check all the insights we've created from our studies, from our assumptions, and decide which one are we going to solve. Because we can have 50 insights. Maybe 50 is too much. 15 is a lot as well. And we need to focus. We cannot solve all of them because our power is not infinite. So we have to prioritize them and choose which one we have to focus on. So let's go to our insights, and here we have our insights table. So here we have all the insights we've created up from text. They appeared automatically because doesn't matter where you created them, out from the text or just in the table. So let's say that children can't hold heavy bottles. That's a pain point. Older people, the older people are, the more they love mustard. That is an opportunity for us. Maybe we can create new tastes. And ketchup is perfect for the quick-made food. That's the praise. Okay, so how do we prioritize the insights? For sure, if we could invite a real product manager, we could ask him and check everything, maybe make more sessions and more interviews. But right now, during the demo, I think the only factor that will be the most important for now is the number of cases. So we can open any insight, for example, this one, and we see the source of truth. So we can see where this insight appeared from. So anytime anyone not from user research team, maybe product manager or just your part of your customer success team, can open the insight and see when it was born and why. And I can also navigate to the source and see the whole interview. So I'll see the whole page. So let's go back to the insight. I see that there are 2 references, and I also have a formula that calculates the number. And I can open any other insight, for example, this one, and I will see the reference as well. So when it was born. Okay. So for now, I see that these 2 have only 1 reference, and this one has 2. So ta-da, we have to solve that insight. So let's say that this one we're going with the work in progress, and for this one we will continue collecting the feedback. What will be our next step? I think next step will be brainstorming. We have to think how can we solve that piece of problem. So maybe let's create the whiteboard and call it brainstorming. Okay. So here we have a problem. We have some problems, right? And we have different kinds of problems. So that mustard is tasty too. And okay, this one is bottle is too heavy. And this one is, what was our last one? I don't remember. That was a praise, so we don't have to mention it. Mustard is tasty too. Let's color it with a red one because we're not going to solve it, right? And bottle is too heavy. In fact, that is our insight. So let's delete it as a card. And instead, let's insert a real card, a real insight we have. Just like this, that children can't hold heavy bottles. So in fact, what did I do right now? I just put a piece of data we already have to our whiteboard, so it was more, better for visualizing or something like that. So I'm clicking and I'm going to connect it here as well. Okay, doesn't look pretty. Okay, and I can open it inside as a card out from the whiteboard as well. So what I'm going to do next, I have some ideas of how to solve the insight. Here it is. So I can, for example, make disposable packages, okay. And we can also have, I don't know, make bottle lighter, make bottle lighter, okay. Let's connect it just like, whoop. Doesn't seem very nice, to tell the truth. I'm not big love with whiteboards, but I know this is how it works. Okay, and how can we sell it? I think we can pour less sauce. Okay, we can pour less sauce. Okay, here we have like 3 ideas. And tell the truth, I don't think that this is a good idea. I think that people will stop buying if we will pour less sauce. And disposable packages is also something not we are going to implement right now. I'm not sure that it will solve our main problem, 2 big bottles during the family dinner in the evening. So make bottle lighter, that seems to be a nice solution, nice decision, nice idea. Let's just maybe think about other kinds of ideas. How can we make bottle lighter? So I think that we can like pour less sauce. Okay, and maybe we can like use plastic instead. Pour less sauce again. I don't love it, so let's color it red. And use plastic looks like the real idea we're going to implement. So let's turn that card on the whiteboard into a real idea that would appear. So remember, we created an insight out from the text, and now we're going to create an idea out from the card on the whiteboard. So I'm clicking on it, and there are 3 dots here, and I'm going to convert that use plastic into the idea. There it is. And ta-da! Some magic! I have an idea here. I'm going to use real plastic. I'm going to implement it just like this, and I think that's a wonderful idea. Okay, and I think that poreless sauce, maybe disposable packages can work for the future. So I want to remember that idea as well. So let's convert it into idea 2. Okay, but just let's say that we're not going to implement it today, but we want to say that in our backlog. So we think that this is 3 stars idea. Okay, so I think that this brainstorming white map is not perfect still, but it, like, life imitates art. So in our case, art imitates life. Okay, and now we can just go to our idea bank and see which ideas do we have and what is the state. And once we have an execution part, we can just connect our ideas with the execution part and then see how it works. We are almost done here, but I think that the last thing, let's imagine that this idea is implemented, so it is completed. And right now I don't need that whiteboard in the left menu because I can have many insights, I can have many whiteboards, and very soon it will be cluttered. So I'm going to the insights again. I'm going again to open the insight I have. In fact, I could do that from any part, but I just want from any part of library. I just want to do that right from the table. And I want to link a brainstorming whiteboard here. So when I'm linking it, I still have access to the whiteboard right here, but it disappeared from the left menu. But from good point of view, I will also remember where is it, that this brainstorming is about this insight. Just like this. Okay, that looks pretty nice. And till our execution team is working on the implementation, let's check our competitors. You thought I forgot about them. No, I didn't, because I have a plan. So let's go to our competitors. Here we see, wow, we have 5 competitors at the same time. All of them are launched and only one of them is in private beta. So let's open a mustard. And remember, in the early beginning, we replaced a piece of text. We replaced a piece of text in mustard with a mention. So a mention also transformed into a reference. So this is it. Once you open any competitor, anytime, you will see all the times it was really mentioned in your customer's conversation. So I can open anytime my mustard and see its description, how it works, when it was founded, all the data about it. And I can also see what do people think about it, what do they love. So maybe my next user search will be deducted to the mustard. Is it a God blessing or pain point? And maybe I'll create a ketchup with a mustard taste, or maybe I will start creating mustards as well, or maybe I will make, I don't know, a pair ketchup plus mustard for big sale, and so on. So I'll get a profit out of it, but anytime I have any mention about any competitor, I have to link it in order not to forget. Okay. So that's all about our competitors we have right now. And now let's imagine that for those couple of minutes we were talking about competitors, our execution team just implemented a bottle that is less heavy, and we have, now we can have a kind of customer feedback. So let's go to our conversation. For sure I've prepared one. So imagine we are talking to Kevin, asking him, can you take this bottle and get some sauce? He's saying, yes, hooray, because it is a webinar and everything has to be perfect. For sure, our insight was solved. And now we can link that piece of text as well to our insight we have. Jump there and say, hooray, now it is resolved. Ta-da! We're super, super duper. And I think that we are done here, but there is a very small thing I wanted to say. So see, in the left menu, I have a top secret whiteboard show after demo only. It's time to open it. So in fact, the case we were going through today, it's a real case from ketchup. It is a real story about a company that is called Heinz, and you definitely know about this. So in the 70s, where they were pretty successful, but they decided to make user research, and they really made some interviews with families, and they really found that the bottle is too heavy for the children. So that was like a real shock for them. Just because typical like 5-year-old consumes about 60% more ketchup than a typical 40 years old human. And right before their eyes, the researchers could see that the product biggest consumers, kids, just didn't have any direct access to it. So they decided to redesign the bottle, make it out from plastic, and that proved to be a hit for the company. So that was so popular that over time the public favorite plastic bottle versions of the glass, like they ruined the glass one, and Heinz stopped manufacturing the glass bottle for home consumption. It still features in lots of restaurants, though it was reintroduced as a nostalgic limited edition product in grocery stores in 2011. And later in the early 2000s, I don't know how to say it correctly, they made one more user research and one more redesign, so the bottle will had to look just like this. Maybe it will be the theme for our one more user research webinar. So Heinz didn't redesign the bottle just for the hell of it. It redesigned it based on data gathered during user research. And returning to what was said earlier, design decisions should always be based on user research, and this will ultimately lead to a better product. And the new design was really successful just because it solved a genuine problem, not just for Heinz, but also for parents and for kids. So great products solve genuine problems. That's what we have to say. And once you install our this template, you'll find not only all this data with all the relations, there is also two small presents for you therein. The first one are articles. So while preparing the webinar, we've checked some nice articles to get inspired by. So maybe they'll be also helpful for you too. So there you have a list of them. We'll also, I suppose, share them under our YouTube record, and we will also send it to you as a follow-up message. And the second one is that imagine you have not only interviews, not only usability testing and so on. If you are working actively with service, with type forms and forms, you can connect your forms with Fibery using Zapier. So here we have an example how it can look like in Fibery. And we've also recorded one more video for you of how to connect forms and Fibery to get data in. If you have any suggestions on how to get data from another sources and so on, just feel free to ping us anytime in the intercom, in the email, and we would be glad to help you to configure, to set it up. I suppose that's all for today, and it's time to answer some questions if we have it. I haven't opened the comments yet, so maybe there is emptiness there right now, and we haven't prepared any fake questions for now. So let's see the surprise. Maybe I can open some helpful whiteboard so you could look at it while I'm checking your comments. Okay. Very cool, fun moderation. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, so there was only one question in the beginning. So when can we have same named apps? So if you already have a workspace in Fibery and you want to install the template one more time, for example, you have already workspace, and in the workspace you, for example, already have an app that is called user research or getting started or customer feedback. So just before installing that template, just rename that in the original workspace. If you don't have Fiber workspace, or just you don't have data inside, or names of your apps are totally different, don't worry, just click on the button and install it. How to distinguish current users and potential users? So it's very nice question. In fact, that depends case by case. I can suggest you some workarounds. So the easiest thing will be, for example, we can open a real contact. For example, let's open again Kate McAllister. And on the contact level, we can add one more field, for example, checkbox. There is our checkbox, and saying whether she's a customer or not. Just like this, for example. Okay, yes, she is our customer. So if the checkbox is empty, that means that's just an ordinary user. If the checkbox is filled in, then it's a real customer, and maybe we can value its opinion more. If, for example, you have more complicated schemas, then you can just find another field to identify it with a formula, for example. So imagine we have like Kate has a family and she's 37 years old, and you're saying that, okay, our target audience is the one who belongs to the family and the one that has an age more than 30. Let's imagine you have some conditions. Then we can create a formula that will check whether family is empty or not, and whether the age is more than 30 or less than 30, and give us an answer. So it will be like kind of a formula. If needed, we can create it right now. If your schema is more complicated and you are just identifying the customer on the early stages, for example, you're having an online product and you have an online product and your user has an account in your product, then you can collect the information whether user has an account and just push that data into Fiber, for example, use an API or a native integration or something like that. And so in Fiber, you'll have maybe also a kind of formula that will identify whether user is a customer or just an ordinary user who can become a customer, something like that. If you want, you can also ping us maybe in intercom, and you can describe your case, and we will figure out together how to solve it. Thank you too. Our webinar took just 40 minutes. I think that this is good enough. I think we can wait for 1 or 2 minutes maximum. If there is no other questions, we can say bye-bye and you'll have a wonderful Thursday, because I hope that the weather is as wonderful as it is in here. What's the best way to get honest feedback? Personal interview, email, forms, or something else? Tell the truth, I think that the best way to get the answers is personal interview. Because during personal interview, you can always ask those questions you were not thinking about. You can also get the real data. For example, imagine I'm talking to you and asking you like, hey, do you love ketchup? And you're saying, yep, I do really love it. And then I ask you, when did you eat it the last time? Oh no, I don't remember, maybe a month ago or so. And then you said, oh wow, so late, why? Because I was on vacation. And then, wow, you were on vacation. And then you can just like talk to someone and get the real data, the real answer. Maybe someone is not cheating you, someone's not trying to lie, but someone had just forgot something. I'd really advise to check the wonderful book we have in our list. Where is it? This is it. Here it is. The Mom Test. So that's really the best book about this topic. We do really love it. I was recommended it by Michael and Danton, our product guys, and I'm totally in love with that book because there are a lot of examples how questions have to be configured and what does the answer mean. So you can just check it and maybe practice. How do I prepare interview templates, and can I modify interview templates during next interview? That's a wonderful question. Let's go through that case again. So in your user research tab, you have study. And you can study, you can open study, and inside it has an interview template field. That's just a field, and there you can have like as many questions as you want to have that are pretty common for this study. So for example, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions only. You can like make them just like this, and you can add one more question, imagining, right? So you can have, I don't know, 100 questions, 5 questions. That's totally up to you. Maybe there can be some notes, right? So just don't forget about, and like blah, 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 blah. And try to check, not heck. Try to check these, like blah, 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 and so on. So you can put there any information you want. And when you have like sessions, right, you can jump to the session. And if the session has as a parent the study, you can click on the button and it will get the data just out from study. Let's try it again. So we have a study, we have some questions inside. You will just add a new session here. Let's open it. And we already have a study here. We can like assign a contact if we want. So that will be Philonis Grew again. And when we click on the button, this button just duplicates the questions from its parent, from study. So now it is uploading, and see, it shows all the other comments. But once it is duplicated, you can add anything you want here. So there can be notes and new questions and maybe comments. So you can like comment that part of the text. So now it doesn't depend from anything. It was just uploaded with one click to save you time, and instead of doing like Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, you just use the template. That's all. How it is, hope it is a little bit more clear now. The contact must be present in CRM beforehand, or you can create it on the fly. For sure, you can create it on the fly. So, in fact, anytime you add anything from any place, it will appear everywhere. So let's say we're having one more session, and you want to talk to someone, to a contact. I can drag and drop fields as well. And we are going to talk to someone we don't have in our CRM. For example, you are going to talk to Paulina from Fibry. So you see, there is nothing I can find because I don't have Paulina already in my like kind of backlog. So I can create that contact. That's all I have. And I can now go to the contacts. I can create a table asking, please show me all the contacts. Please show me all the contacts. Here it is. And I want to find Paulina. So I remember that Paulina right now doesn't have a family. So I'm filtering, saying that family is empty. Okay, and now I found the Paulina. Now I can open Paulina, and I can even assign a family from here right now. So Paulina is from Fibry family. Let's create it. Okay, and now I can go to my families list, just right here. And I have here Beethoven's, Despicables, McAllister's, and Fibry. I can open Fibry, I can see Paulina out from here. I can add a new contact here as well, and maybe there will be like, I don't know, Kate, and I can also add a Michael and all our teammates because we are a very wonderful family. Okay, and I don't need this table anymore, so I can delete it, and nothing will happen to my families because I'm just deleting the table, like closing the window to the data, and so on. So you can the same as for insights. In fact, you can create insight from text, you can create insight from the table, you can create insight from whiteboard. Anywhere you're creating a kind of a data of a separate type, it will appear everywhere it can. Hope it was clear enough. If not, just feel free to ping us for the demo and we'll explain it to you in 30 minutes, not in 5. Okay. If I add some questions to the template at the second interview, what happens to the previous interviews? Once you upload the questions, the new questions, that will affect only the new interviews when you click the button again. So that was very clear. Hooray, that was clear. I suppose we can again wait for a couple of minutes. So the number of question is lowering. Maybe I can say again, so feel free to install the template. Feel free to ping us about concierge service. Just check our previous webinar, and if you have any ideas about any other theme our next webinar has to be, just throw your suggestions at us. We will be glad to explain something and create other wonderful cases. Thank you for your time so much. It was a pleasure to know that someone is listening, that someone loves Pipeberry. That's really important for us. Have a good day, everyone, and bye-bye, I think.